All right, let's talk about a huge challenge in building pretty much any digital product: documentation. We all know it's the backbone of a project, right? But let's be honest, it's almost always the biggest bottleneck. We're going to dive into how AI is starting to change that game completely.
So right off the bat, I have a question for you. For any product managers, devs, or QA folks out there, does this feel a little too familiar? You've got this amazing idea, but getting from that vision to a real, working product gets completely tangled up in paperwork.
I mean, seriously, trying to juggle business requirement documents, software requirement specs, endless user stories, and all the test cases, it is a ton of work. Before you know it, you're just drowning in different versions and conflicting details. It's just a nightmare. And when that documentation gets messy and disconnected, you know what happens next? Yep, everything grinds to a halt. Suddenly, timelines are slipping, and the whole flow of the project just gets thrown way off course.
But honestly, delays are one thing. What's even worse is building the wrong thing entirely. Those little gaps in the docs, they lead to huge misinterpretations. And that means wasted code, wasted money, and fixes that cost a fortune to implement later on.
Okay, so if that's the problem, and it's a big one, what's the fix? Well, this is where a new wave of AI tools is stepping in, designed to be more like a co-pilot for your team rather than just another piece of software.
So let's meet Intellico. At its heart, it's an AI platform built specifically to sort out that documentation mess we were just talking about. The whole idea is to give a boost to everyone involved, from the PM with the initial spark of an idea, all the way to the QA engineer doing the final checks.
And here's the big promise, the headline feature. It's all about shifting from that slow manual grind to something automated and fast. We are literally talking about taking tasks that used to eat up days, sometimes weeks, and crunching them down into just a few minutes.
So that sounds amazing, right? But how? How does it actually do that? Let's peel back the layers and look at the key features that are meant to seriously supercharge your whole workflow.
You know, what's really impressive here is that it's not a one-trick pony. It handles the whole shebang, generating all those documents, mapping out user journeys, and it even helps with requirements engineering, which is really just the fancy way of saying it helps make sure you're building what people actually want. And it does all of this while plugging right into your agile process.
Now, one of the coolest features has got to be what they call the mock-up studio. We've all been there, right? Trying to explain a visual idea using only words. It's just so difficult.
And the process couldn't be simpler. You literally just type out a description of the screen you're imagining. The AI then spits out a professional-looking mock-up in seconds. But here's the real kicker. You can export it as production-ready HTML and CSS. Think about that. It's a seamless handoff to your developers. That is a huge time saver.
Okay, creating stuff is one thing, but what happens when you just get stuck? You've got a quick question about a feature or a user story, and you need an answer now. Well, for that, there's the Innovation Lab.
The best way to think about this is like having your project's own personal expert on call 24/7. It's a chatbot that has read and understood every single one of your project documents. So when you ask it something, you get a smart, accurate answer right away, without having to pull a senior dev into another meeting.
And of course, none of this matters if it doesn't fit into how you already work. So Intellico plugs right into the tools that teams are using every single day, like Azure DevOps and Jira. That means no awkward workarounds, just a smoother process.
So that's the tech and the features. But let's get to the important part. What does this actually look like in the real world? What kind of impact is it having on actual teams?
I mean, when you put it side by side like this, the difference is just, well, it's night and day, isn't it? You've got the old way with all the manual work, the constant risk of missing something important, and just how slow it all is. And then you have the new way, automation, smart AI suggestions that fill those gaps for you in a workflow that's just way, way more efficient.
And this isn't just theory or a nice-looking chart. Companies are really putting this into practice and seeing some incredible results.
I mean, listen to this from Technotech. They don't just say it saved time, they say it actually made their documents more accurate. They call it an essential tool. That's a pretty powerful statement. Now, this one from TechMinds points to something that I think is even more interesting. It's not just about doing things faster, it's about doing them smarter. The AI is actively flagging things the team might have missed. That's not just a tool, that's a genuine co-pilot.
And here we go again with quick solutions. See that phrase, a real game changer? When you hear the same powerful language from different teams over and over again, you know you're looking at something that's solving a very real and very painful problem.
So let's just zoom out for a minute and think about the big picture here. When you boil it all down, what is this really about?
It really comes down to this core idea. It doesn't matter if you're launching a tiny feature or a massive new product, your success depends entirely on one thing: how well you can translate your big business idea into something your technical team can actually build.
And that's really the final thought I want to leave you with. What if the real bottleneck isn't your idea or your developers, but that translation process, that bridge between the two? And what if AI could finally make that bridge faster, stronger, and smarter than it's ever been before? Just think about what that could unlock for you and your team.